Hello everybody, and just here, and welcome back to Shangri-La Frontier, episode 8, in which Sanaraku will fight the final boss of the Rabituza initiation kinda sorta trial thing. Because that's what the previous episode ended with, so it stands to reason that we're gonna see a continuation. So, in the previous episode, we got a little bit of a backstory, I guess, on how... did we? Or was it the previous episode? Backstory on how the girl from Sanaraku's school, Rei, how she got there. Yeah, that was in a previous episode. Okay, sorry, I got I'm mistaken here. So what happened besides the trials? Well, Sanaraku was saved. Animalia managed to defeat... Is she listed anywhere? Towa Amane, but I think that's her real name. She's Pencilgon, Arthur Pencilgon, I think, in Shangri-La Frontier. Yeah, Animalia managed to defeat her thanks to her magic wand hand kind of thing that can be activated only if the caster is at 1 HP, and then it kills the caster and it kills the castee, the person the spell has been cast on. Overpowered, but the activation condition makes it a little bit more balanced, and it's probably not a particularly common item either, so that should be fine, and that was an ant on my screen. Then Sanaraku, of course, escaped, stepping on Rei and telling her something like, oh, we'll see each other again, or some, regular thing like that, and Rei, of course, blew it out of proportion through her shoujo filter, and oh my god, Sanaraku-san talked to me, and her day, and perhaps even entire week, was made with just that one interaction. They haven't added each other to friends yet, nor to a guild, nor to a party, nothing of the sort, so there is still quite a ways ahead of them, quite a road to travel. Sanaraku, after escaping, went back to Rabituza to continue that quest, and the next step in that quest in continuing... Oh, no, beforehand, he got a message from Pencilgon, and that she wants to meet up in some other game, together with that other guy who plays with Sanaraku and who was there to dethrone... she wasn't Pencilgon then, she was Pencil Knight, I think, back then in that other game. So yeah, she wants to meet with him and Sanaraku to talk about something. Probably creating a party, I know, something like that. We still haven't met that other girl who's gonna be in Sanaraku's party, whom I believe is gonna be in Sanaraku's party. I mean, that's certainly how it's shown in the OP and ED? Maybe, I know. But yeah, she is shown to be together with Sanaraku and Pencilgon in a party, so who is she? We'll see. We'll see about that. Then Sanaraku went back to Rabituza to continue the quest, and the continuation of that quest is Arena, fight through 10 rounds of monsters, then show your Vorpal spirit. Then you're gonna be, I don't know, accepted for the next stage of the quest, something like that probably. Some of the monsters, some of the enemies were tough, some of them weren't. Some Sanaraku defeated just in one try, for some he needed over 100, I believe, was the record with that acid bird thing, because Sanaraku has no ranged attacks and birds fly, so of course. But he eventually got through it to the 10th try, and the 10th trial will be special because Visage himself brought a monster for Sanaraku to fight, That monster being level 120 treant? Something like that. Very strong treant, in any case. It's not a treant, it's a deteriorated tree sorcerer, something along those lines. And Sanaraku doesn't need to defeat it, he just needs to survive for long enough. And apparently, curious tidbit of information, nobody has faced against that monster yet. Sanaraku is the first one. Which really seems interesting, considering the player base size of Shangri-La, considering that people are level capped already. I assume 99 is level cap at least. Perhaps there are ways to increase that level cap. Perhaps the grind from 99 to 100 is simply so long that nobody has gotten through it yet, and everybody is capped, soft capped, essentially you could say, at 99. Yeah, we ended up with the fight with the tree mage, tree wizard, and we're probably gonna start from that. Alternatively, Sanraku's gonna log off, and we're gonna meet with Pencil Gon and that other dude in some other game, and then we're gonna go back to Rabituza. Although I don't think they would do that. I think we're gonna see a continuation. I don't know, we'll see. In this episode, so how about we just watch it, right? To do that, you will of course need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. And I'm also gonna have to ask you guys for your support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 8 of Shangri-La Frontier in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, standard intro. I guess it's just gonna be a mainstay part. I really don't like it when anime have this sort of an intro, you know? It would make sense if there was like one episode released a month or something, right? One big episode or one movie released a month. So through the course of a month you might forget about what the fuck's going on, so it makes more sense, I guess. But in a weekly series, it's not like I can forget who the fuck Sanraku is. I don't need a reminder. I guess it's also a stylistic choice. It's not necessarily just purely functional, so that would be an explanation. Not necessarily good enough of an explanation for me, because I still believe that it has no benefit, but an explanation nonetheless. And the Twin-Tail Blonde is a brawler. Cool. Always liked brawlers. I think I mentioned that already. It's not the first time we see her in the opening brawling, so whatever. Yeah, they will certainly form a party. The entire opening just shows them forming a party. I wonder how Pencil Gon gonna get out of her PvP penalty. We had a serious recap, now we get the end of the previous episode recap. Cool. Waste more of my time, please. Again, it would make sense if the previous episode was a recap, or if the previous episode didn't air because they had production issues or whatever. But this is still fresh in my memory. I guess at least we get some additional context, at least a little bit. Did we though? I'm not even sure. Whatever, doesn't matter. Aberrant Wood Mage. Okay, that's the name. Yeah, you're gonna have to stay in motion first. And that motion will have to be fast enough. A little bit. There's a little bit of telegraph, I guess. The circle appearing on the ground. Okay, so it's not exactly one-to-one copy of the ending of the previous episode. We get some additional scenes, additional detail, and we smoothly get to the main part of the episode. I'm looking at the timer because that would mean that the episode really started 4 minutes in, but whatever. Shangri-La episodes are longer than usual as it is, with the minis at the end. Yeah, it has quite the level advantage. Do you have any magic attacks? Man is living his life, isn't he? With all those bunnies just massaging him and whatnot. And chains. Probably a speed debuff too. I mean, at least since you're not attacking him, there's no risk that he's gonna get into like second phase after you whittle his health down to 50% or something. So you can at least understand the moveset and it's not going to change. That's a very video game attack. Moving circles of light, moving across the ground. Okay, so there is no second phase with the HP, but rather as the time goes on. So ideally, you would want to kill him fast and not stall the battle. But Sanraku has no choice but to stall. Amazing animation as always. I guess I can see why they gave us a recap and all. They put all that budget into the animation of this fight. Yeah, and that spell has leading on it. So he doesn't aim at you, he aims at where you're gonna be. Two minutes down. Oh. So you actually get tired in game? Yeah. You're not a loser. You're not a quitter, Sanraku, aren't you? Of course you're no quitter. What does that talk about? Resting, logging off, getting carbs? Are you crazy? Great music. This is the Vorpal soul, never giving up, never surrendering. Yeah, that's the Vorpal soul. And the music's picking up. Yep, going on the offensive. Oh, disarm him. Okay. Yep. And he's gonna be focused on retrieving the staff. Man, the music is on point in this show. The music really is on point. Can you use the staff, I wonder, as a non-magic character? Yeah, 1 minute left. So I thought. Okay, real time timer in the corner. Exhaustion, drain, of course. Oh, it can talk. It's really weird hearing this thing talk. Yep. Outplayed. Completely outplayed. I mean, yeah, but the wood mage wasn't in on it. Exactly. And done. Up to a certain degree, I would assume. Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. So the play actually is to disarm it. Okay, that's a nice title to place next to your name. But I doubt it's the end of the quest. You get a second color. Oh. You get your color taken off. Okay, so it is a clear, actually. Okay, so it's a chain of quests. The loot is the experience you gained. Day well lived, day well done. He deserves some sleep. Recommended level 80. Ancient bunnies or something? Of course. Just ask Emul. Ask Visage. Also, yeah, you probably want to get at least a few levels. Some new gear, maybe. Also, you did get something out of that quest. You got Emul. Right? Emul's with you. Oh, invisibility spell? In Rabituza. Of course. Do they also have some unique currency, I wonder? Darling of the Night Emperor. Of course, Emul thought it's his face all along. Oh, or that. Invisibility fabric or something like that? Oh. Does it count as a head accessory? Head slot. And, of course, she really wants to get into PvP. I mean, I've seen people wear crazier costumes in MMOs, so... Forthia? 5 Borough? Forfolkshire. Okay, sure. Fivelle. Sixenveld. That looks intriguing. Yeah, that looks very intriguing. Oh, those glowing lines and whatnot. I mean, you probably want to go in order. Chances are the quests are gonna be growing in like level equipment level requirements. Okay, so in order. No, not particularly. That probably has to do with your unique scenario, doesn't it? Animalia? Pencil gun? Oh, Ray. Can she see the nameplate, or does the ghost cosplay also cover the nameplate, I wonder? There wouldn't really be much of a point to changing your appearance if your nameplate is still visible, would there? I mean, the word has probably gotten out that the person with the bird mask and Lycagon marks and all that is Sanaraku. So just look at the nameplate, whether he has a bird mask or not, the name stays the same. Little bit of an oversight on Sanaraku's part. Unless, of course, the cloak also covers the nameplate. Also, really surprised that we get to see Rei this early. I honestly thought that that it's gonna be like Rei and Sanraku meet, then Sanraku bolts away somewhere, Rei searches for him throughout like 3 episodes, then they meet again, then Sanraku escapes, then Rei searches for 3 more episodes, right? That we're gonna be repeating that pattern? Apparently not. Or maybe Rei just, looks at him, says, no, can't be Sanaraku, and just walks away. Could very well be. Okay, what are the minis today? Oh. You are probably hoping for loot from here. More sake? Probably more sake. Or a carrot. But what a carrot it is! It would probably level up your taste buds by like 10 levels all at once. XX seconds. Oh, and a countdown again. Kinda. It can't be ice cold. Can't be super warm either. I don't recommend fizzy drinks, certainly. If you can't handle the spice. The fizz makes the spice much worse. If you want something neutral, room temperature tea or room temperature water. If you want to get rid of the spice, either alcohol, because it dissolves capsaicin, or milk, because casein binds capsaicin. Oh no! Your noodles are gonna be ruined! Yeah, now they are... Yep. Unironically, I really like it when my instant ramen just absorbs all of the broth, and you just eat brothy noodles like that. Can't be too long because the noodles just fall apart, but the less broth there is, the better it is. Not every instant ramen, but a good chunk of them. I really like it when the noodles are soggy. So how about we watch this episode again? As always, but I should have prepared for saying that beforehand. Play, pause, full screen. There we go. Yep. OP. Recap. Although not a pure recap, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% certain of it. I think there were a couple of additional added scenes there. Great fighting animation, amazing art, as always. I mean, what can I say? Amazing music. Interesting that the monster changes the attack patterns as the time goes on, instead of changing them as its health goes down. Usually when the boss changes patterns as the time goes on, you see that in turn-based games, right? If the fight lasts for 5 turns, then the boss gets plus 10% damage or something like that, or changes patterns. You don't really see that limitation of 10 minutes into the fight, the boss, I don't know, changes attack patterns or something, right? It's usually health-based. Interesting. Nullifies physical attacks and whatnot. A lot of attacks. Very interesting that you can actually get tired. I guess mentally tired, right? Like a mental strain of playing the game for so long and controlling the character this much for so long. It would put a strain on your mind. Plus, it's late, so he's also sleepy, tired, played for a lot of time, hundreds of tries of some of the bosses. Of course, he would be wary, of course, he would be tired. Not physically, though. I'm gonna get some carbs in me, think up a strat, and try again. Carbs alone won't really do much. You will get a quick, fast kick of energy, but it's not gonna last long. Good way if you want to get like an hour or something of being awake more in you. Drink a coffee, and immediately after drinking coffee, take a 15-minute nap. Just a power nap, set yourself a timer for 15 minutes. Even if you just sleep for 10 minutes of that time or 5 minutes of that time, set the timer to 15 minutes, because after 15 minutes, give or take, is when caffeine starts kicking in. So you wake up from the nap, caffeine immediately starts kicking in, you feel doubly empowered, I guess, doubly awake. Carbs alone, it helps. When you're tired, it really helps to eat like a chocolate bar or a couple of candies or a cookie or something like that. But simple carbs burn quickly. You probably want a mixture of simple carbs and complex carbs, so that simple carbs can give you a kick of energy in the time that it takes for the complex carbs to start burning, start giving you energy. Whatever, that was a complete aside. Let's continue. It's not like I'm penalized if I die or anything. Yeah, sure, it's not like you get penalized, but are you a quitter, Sanraku? Of course you're not. Of course you're not a quitter. You played so many garbage games. You went through all of the challenges here in this stage. You fought the mud digger while being completely rid of your mobility, you didn't quit. You didn't turn off the game. You didn't log out and came back to it the next day. No, you took everything in a stride, and that's exactly how it's gonna be this time as well. Next thing you know, you're cutting corners all over the place. Yeah, you give up once, you're gonna continue giving up. Oh, a boss is too hard. Well, let me just log off so I don't die to the last attack, right? That's not you, Sanraku. That's not you. You're no quitter. And that's the Vorpal spirit, the tenacity to keep going on. The speed, the tenacity. And also, the resourcefulness. Yeah, disarm your enemy. It's gonna be easier for you to fight. I really love this. I really do. Throw away the staff as the timer runs out. He's not gonna retrieve that staff until the timer runs out. You're gonna win. Easy. That was great. That was tactics. That was strategy. Now again, unfortunately, the monster didn't agree to 5 minutes. It was Vash's idea. But also, thankfully, Vash is hella strong and also knows of the weaknesses of the aberrant mage. Disarm and one hit. Easy. What level is Vash? Probably in the 150s, something thereabout. That would be my guess. Oh, those two frames of Emul are identical. Yeah, I guess the run animation is just... Okay, that's cool. Completely accidental find. I love Emul. As I said in the previous episodes, I usually really don't like mascot characters. Emul is so much more than just a mascot. Honorary Rabbi Tuzan. This title probably gives you something. Let's be honest here. Titles in games usually mean something. Sometimes they are just purely, text you can place besides your name. But something tells me that Honorary Rabbi Tuzan might maybe give you access to Rabbi Tuzan facilities that other people don't have access to. Maybe gives you free access to Rabbi Tuzan even without Emul being around, right? Some sort of benefits like that. You don't get new loot. Instead, you get the color removed. And you don't even get to keep the color, no. But you get another quest in the chain. When the souls of the divinity are shaken, a rabbit shall tell an epic tale. Recommended level 80, so yeah, you probably should get a couple more levels. Seeing how you're level 31 right now, you don't have the collar. Seems like the perfect time to go out there and farm for a little while. Just farm. Don't necessarily aim for another town, don't necessarily aim for another quest. Just go out there, get your levels up to snuff to where they should be. How much does the color reduce level gain? By half or something, so I guess getting to level 50 something or so would be beneficial right now. Interesting that he reads his news on a Kindle. Or some sort of a e-paper tablet thing. Or maybe the site is just black and white, I don't know. Pulling usable info from that mess won't be easy, yeah? You might want to consume it in video form or something. Whole clans dedicated to finding out the game lore. See, that's something I really miss. I really miss from games nowadays. I think I talked about it at length already. How every bit of lore is just immediately known on the wiki. There's no excitement of finding out anything, right? Souls games, maybe Souls games have their lore obstructed a little bit. I guess that's why I like Arknights so much, because there is still a lot of lore to speculate about in Arknights, although a lot of it is being revealed recently with Lone Trail event, with IS4. Still plenty left, though. Still plenty left. Next area. Yeah, you're gonna change your look. Exclusive shop. Perhaps you have access to this shop because you have the title. Maybe. Pete's younger brother. Are you all brothers and sisters in Rabituza? Maybe. Not just Rabituza, but also other shops, other towns. We don't see his face. As if it was some sort of a mystery. We see an amazing Emul face, though. So, hey, I'm willing to forget that. I'm willing to forgive that, rather. You actually took it off. Actually, I'm kind of with Emul here. If I saw someone wearing a bird mask, I would animated bird mask that moves and emotes with him. I really would assume that it's some sort of a curse of binding or something like that, and he can take it off. But he can. A very intriguing textile. I mean, it's just a normal MMO costume, really. And yeah, the nameplate is still here, so it seems like people can still see that you are Sanaraku, and people can still go after you and PK you and whatnot. He doesn't have the Lycagon marks on his legs, though. I wonder if this costume hides that, or is it just an animation error? I love the running gag of those two. This is great. Whenever she sees a player that looks like a monster, just silently equips the bow and gets ready to PK. I love this running gag. Ritual Major Kefye? What? Whatever it says. Recovery items for Emul and for yourself, of course, probably some health potions. A map. Prismatic Grotto to 4 Folkshire. Fivel, Felfate Caldera. This looks really dope. I guess this is where we see in, like, not in detail, but where we like finally see the sci-fi part of Shangri-La, because it was said at the beginning that Shangri-La Frontier has elements of fantasy, elements of sci-fi, so everybody can find something for them, but everything we've seen so far was just pure fantasy. So perhaps this is where the sci-fi elements appear. Some ancient civilization, advanced machinery, maybe you can get a gun, maybe archers can get a class change into gunner after entering those ruins. I know, something like that. Looks dope. Will probably be the last place we visit. Sanraku will probably go in order. That would be my bet. Ruins from the era of the Divinity. The unique scenario that Sanraku now got also says something about Divinity, so I would assume this is where you can activate that scenario. Prismatic Forest Grotto. And we get a full explanation why. Emul doesn't care. Emul don't give a fuck. Right, we must avoid the Divinity because it has a great name, so probably great loot, so a lot of people will be there. Science means civilization, the wisdom of centuries, so there's guns and stuff in the ruins probably, so there's gonna be plenty of people around there, but also it's gonna be a pain in the ass to deal with monsters there, because technological, so there's probably gonna be some golems, some enemies with guns, etc, etc, etc. You can outrun a fireball, you can't exactly outrun a bullet. So that would make it really hard. And here's Rei. And that's where we end. And yeah, those two again appear in the ending, so I guess I was correct in the beginning that they both appear both in the opening and in the ending. What Sanraku saw, the mystical carrot of legends. Don't discount it, Sanraku. Do not discount it. It's really probably gonna boost your taste buds levels by at least a couple. Great Mac Tantan noodles. Water makes spicy stuff worse. Kinda. Water carries capsaicin from just one spot in your mouth to all over your mouth. So instead of just your tongue burning, you swallow the water, and now your throat is burning as well, because water carried capsaicin further down the pipe. Again, carbonated drinks, wouldn't recommend. Login bonus, of course, and he forgot about it. And the noodles all soaked up the broth. What a tragedy. What a tragedy. Okay. Oh boy. Another cool episode. Yeah. Amazing fight. I am really willing to forget and forgive the fact that we got so much recap early on, because I believe that they did it to save a little bit of budget, to put that budget and that time and people and whatnot into animating that combat scene, because this was probably, correct me if I'm wrong here, this was probably the longest combat scene in this show so far. I don't think the fight with the snake lasted for quite as long, and I don't think the fight with the PKers was quite as well animated. This had both amazing animation and quite a bit of length to it. So it's cool. It's really cool. In other shows, you would really see them going for certain shortcuts, right? You would see sliding PNGs being utilized, you would see static images with some camera shake, maybe even CG used for the tentacles. It's crazy that only the chain uses CG. Everything else is just drawn. There's really a lot of passion and a lot of skill behind this show, and it just oozes out of the screen as you watch it. It really, really does. Honestly, one of the better made shows in my recent memory. Really, one of the better done shows. Amazing animation, amazing art, great story, great characters. Just overall, had a really good time. More, please. More, please. Anything else about this episode? Not really. This was just the ending of the Rabituza quest and a preparation for the next area. Pretty much just an ending of an arc and a little bit of a beginning of the next one. I fully expected this episode to deal with Pencilgon's invitation. I fully expected this to be shown in today's episode, but perhaps the next one. I don't know. I don't know the flow of time in this show, because Pencilgon, I believe she decided a specific time, or was it all TBD? I'm not sure. I can't remember honestly. But yeah, I fully expected that to happen. Instead, we got both the ending to the Rabituza training arc, and we got an introduction to the next arc, journey to the 4 Fantasy 5 or whatever that 4 Fantasy Shire, something like that was the name of the next city. And all the while, Sanraku will have to run from Rei. I wonder if he's gonna run from her, or are they gonna talk? This show surprised me once already when it comes to Sanraku and Rei, so I can fully expect it to surprise me again, and I can fully expect them to actually talk. And that would be shocking. That would go against each and every single trope in anime ever. Which means there's a high chance that it's exactly what's gonna happen. And I won't mind. I won't mind it at all. Yeah, I guess this episode is just not gonna hit an hour. It's gonna be a little shorter, but I don't really have much to talk about. I could probably go back to the fight scene and I could go through it scene by scene, shot by shot, frame by frame, but I think I said everything I needed to say about the animation. It's just great. It's just amazing. There isn't really any point of analyzing it particularly much. The low shots, low placed camera shots, they're great. Amazing animation. I don't think anything was done on once. Correct me if I'm wrong though. Everything is dynamic. Everything works so well with the music. I don't need to go through the animation frame by frame to be able to tell that it's amazing. So I guess we lost a little bit of time on that. The episode time, the video time, right? That first half of the episode of the anime was pretty much had not much to talk about. Whatever. I'm getting tangled up in my own words. Time to end this video. So, you guys, you tell me down in the comments below, what did you think of this episode, or my reaction, my theories, stuff like that. No spoilers, please. Spoilers, go to my Discord, up here, also in the description. You can join it, it's free, open to everybody. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Shangri-La, but also Magia Record, Hell, Zone 100, whenever that comes out. Shy, Ancient Magus Bride, Shield Hero, plenty of others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified when I go live, because I do stream sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Magia Record, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And if you don't want to support me on Patreon, you can do that on YouTube, also down below, with memberships, super thanks, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever at all, you can just share my content, spread the word, because it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without a Network, Survivor, Zay Rainer, Akamancer, David, Dr. Watt, Marsh, Galay, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them without having to fight the Aberrant Tree Mage.